Doug, business leaders out this week with its plan for improving education in Michigan. Give us the highlights.
Yeah, well, basically, we're in a crisis, Nolan. We have one of every 4 kids that are deemed to be college or career ready in the state, and it's a statewide problem. It's not isolated to any one district.
Or demographic group.
It's not. It's not. So we looked at what other states are doing to correct the problem. We identified 4 or 5 themes, things like having a strong accountability system, investing in teachers, making sure they can be the best they possibly can, strong standards, high assessments that are making sure that our kids are learning what they should be, and we spend the money that goes into the classroom well, as opposed to spending it on the system as a whole.
Yeah. Phil, you've been at this a long time in a number of different roles. I'm really curious to hear from you what you think we need to do to fix it. Why can't we fix this in this state?
Well, there was a guy who was the CEO and chairman of General Motors, Roger Smith. And years ago, Roger Smith said, if we keep doing what we've always done, we're going to keep getting what we've always got.
Yeah.
And I think the fundamental issue is we've got to change radically the context and the way we are approaching this issue. I'm very struck at Tennessee because they've made education the major issue in the state. Indeed, the first debate they have among candidates for governor is around one subject, education, schools, and what do we do about it?
But Phil and Doug, I mean, this isn't a new worry. I mean, you mentioned Tennessee. Business leaders and the chamber have been to Tennessee. The chamber brought the Tennessee folks up here. We've known for a long time we're lagging, and yet we're still in the same place we always were. How are we going to move off that place this time? What's it going to take?
Well, I think one of our speakers today said it, which is I don't think we've been honest with our parents. I don't think we've been honest with ourselves about how bad things really are. I don't think that it's been clear that, as I mentioned earlier, only 1 out of 4 of our 11th graders are deemed to be college or career ready, that we're now below average on just about every measure you could look at in terms of educational performance. I think if people knew that, I think there would be a greater sense of urgency and a focus to act.
Yeah. Phil, poverty, of course, plays a role in outcomes for education. You guys have done some interesting work that shows, well, ways we might mitigate that in our schools.
Well, to begin with, all of the studies that we have seen say that every kid, race, demography, income, residence, is capable of learning at a high level.
Yeah.
And as long as we keep going back into the same trap, saying, okay, because they're in Detroit, or they're from the UP, or wherever it is, we're going to keep deluding ourselves, because every kid can learn effectively.
But we know what to do. We've known what to do. Well, and in this latest study, you've looked at best practices. We've had ideas on the table for a long time. How do we come together in a united strategy? I mean, what's your approach going to be to bring this state, all the various interest groups, into behind one plan and one mission?
Yep.
What's that going to take?
Well, we're going to do it right now. We're going to start today, Nolan, and that is that first of all, we're raising awareness around the state through conferences like this and getting reports out like we talked about. We have already brought together about 10 different organizations throughout Michigan that are aligned with the recommendations that were in our report. They want to help make this happen, and we're going to build that even larger. We hope that, for example, by the Mackinac Conference, that we can announce that even to be a bigger group of organizations. And more importantly, we're going to then also really get into raising public awareness about these problems, putting some action plans together that we can give the candidates and say, you don't have to come up with your own education plan. Here's what the state leaders believe needs to be done.
Does business have to drive it?
I think we have to be a catalyst.
Guys, thanks a lot. We appreciate your time today.
Delighted to be here. Thank you.